All right, we just got dropped off by Teresa Wicker here, our shuttle for the morning. It's about 8:30 and it's in the 20s. No wind though, so we're hitting the trail right here, and we're heading up to McAfee Knob. We're about 4 miles away. We're out for about a 20-mile stretch. I think it's right at 20, if not exactly 20. So we're gonna go 10 and 10. Trying to get to the Lambert Meadows shelter today. It's gonna be in the upper 20s tonight, so it'll be a little chilly. We did bring our colder rated gear, quilts, and so we gotta tough it out for one cold night. We didn't want to wait till tomorrow, and then it'll be Friday and we might be crowded here. It's a very popular spot to day hike. So we're heading up and we will check in later. On our way to McAfee Knob and Tinker Cliffs today. So we'll finish the Virginia Triple Crown. So pretty morning. Feels pretty nice out here. Good weather for hiking for sure. Won't be sweating today. All right, we'll check in later. All right, so we're 30 minutes in, and we're both warmed up a good bit. It feels great, and we'll hopefully be at McAfee Knob before lunchtime. I believe we will, unless the trail gets a lot tougher than it is so far. But it is absolutely gorgeous out here. You can see the frost on the grass down in the valley. So warmed up nicely though for hiking. Do have on my long johns bottoms, so dressed a little bit warmer than usual so far. The trail gets used a lot because a lot of day hikers hike from that parking lot where we started up and back. It's 8 miles round trip, and so this trail is well worn, and there is an alternate road you can walk on that keeps you off the AT for a couple miles anyway. So I think a lot of the day hikers probably use that.
We're coming up on John's spring shelter. I'm not gonna stop or anything, it's pretty close in. So there's the sign. There's the shelter down there. But we're gonna keep going that way.
All right, so we just made it about, we're probably a little over halfway, but we stopped and talked to a nice young fellow named Adam. He had spent the night up here last night in the cold, and he was a great guy. He's gonna be doing some more hiking, I believe. But he braved it out last night up here and camped. So we'll be joining that cold feeling tomorrow morning that he had this morning. But it's great meeting him, and wish him luck in the future. We're probably about 2 miles away, a little less, from McAfee Knob. So warming up nicely. The wind is not bad at all today. Anyhow, we'll check in later. just past the shelter, there's a little camping area for tenting. And there is a privy here at the shelter. So we're just not far at all past that shelter. But got some camp spots here in this area. So see, we've got a mile and a half to get up to McAfee's Knob. So we're making our way. And then 17.4 is where we are parked. So at 220, US 220. So, all right, here we go. All right, we're 2 or 3/10 of a mile from McAfee Knob. So we've stopped and talked to several people, and so here we are about 11:15. Beautiful morning, and we'll be at McAfee Knob in just about 10 or 15, 20 minutes most, and we're pretty excited to see it. It's one of the highlights of the trail. It's in the top 5, I'm sure. And I think it's the most iconic photograph spot. Probably Katahdin is at the sign in Katahdin, and then probably Springer. And then there's several other points, of course. But this is one of the most famous ones for a picture. And a lot of people day hike up here, as I mentioned earlier, so it can get really crowded. And today we got a good situation. There's not many people up here, being a Thursday. Tomorrow and Saturday, it'll be a zoo. So we're happy that we're getting it on Thursday. And we'll let you know when we get there. Talk to you later. Okay, we just arrived at the Blue Blaze. There's the AT going on that way. We're gonna walk up this Blue Blaze to the overlook. So I think this will be McAfee's Knob. We'll find out here in a minute. I'll let y'all see it when we see it. So we just met a nice couple from Charlotte, Clayton and Gretchen, and talked to them for a bit. Yeah, this is McAfee right here, I can tell. So we have made it. And there's very few people here. So here we come up on the view. So here we are. So at least maybe we got one person up here who can take our picture. No, there's another person up there. Anyway, here's the view. It's magnificent. And there, over there, you can see on that knoll, zoom in a little bit, on that ridge over there, that's Tinker Cliffs. That's where we'll walk down this ridge here. But
I see that's Tinker Cliffs.
That's Tinker Cliffs over there. So you'll be able to see back to McAfee Knob here. So this is the iconic picture spot though on that rock. So we're gonna be getting our pictures made here in a minute. And it's beautiful up here, no wind. You can see for miles. The sky's very clear. Huh? Debbie's on the knob, the McAfee knob. "245 miles from Damascus," so that's awesome. We're going to be walking over past Tinker Cliffs over there on that little knoll, and then down from there to the shelter, and then we'll be going back to Daleville, which I think you can see way back in the distance there. I don't know if it shows on the video, but anyway. All right, we'll check in a bit. Gorgeous day up here. I'm standing on McAfee Knob, and it was a pretty easy hike. We could have gotten here faster, but we talked a lot, which was great. But anyway, it's not too bad of a hike up here, and we're gonna take a little break here and eat, take our packs off for a bit. So greetings from McAfee Knob. So we're still at McAfee Knob. You can walk along the rim of this cliff zone from McAfee on around from the famous picture spot anyway, and we're walking back toward that now. But you can see out to for miles here. It's amazing. So beautiful view, beautiful day. It's probably about 40 degrees, and it's awesome. All right, we had a nice break at McAfee Knob, and we're heading on up the AT now. And we will, next thing we'll be getting to will be Tinker Cliff. So it'll be a little while before we get over there. But anyway, that was awesome. Fantastic views. Couldn't ask for a better day as far as the crowds go. Very few people. So we will check in after we make some progress. Well, we finally actually are leaving the McAfee Knob again. We keep leaving the McAfee Knob, but we keep running into people to talk to. So we've had a good conversations with folks up here today, and we're down. Just thought this was a really neat area. We're walking in as we are leaving the area here. So we're making our way toward Tinker Cliffs. Looks like we got a nice ridge walk once we get down on the ridge. And see what kind of time we can make. It's probably close to 1 o'clock. We've probably been at McAfee Knob for an hour and a half. So Tinker Cliff is 4.9, and then our end point where our truck is 15.7. We just reached the blue blaze for the next shelter. I can't remember the name of this one off the top of my head, but there are several shelters along this stretch of the trail around the McAfee Knob and the Tinker Cliffs area. They don't allow you to camp anywhere you want to in this stretch. You have to camp at the shelters, or there are campsites that are along the trail that you can camp out that are designated campsites. Anyway, we're making our way, meeting a lot of nice people today and having a lot of good conversations. So we just met a trail hiker named Reboot. He's a nice guy. So we'll talk to you later. All right, so we're still making our way to Tinker Cliffs, and it's been a nice trail. This ridge line so far has been pretty decent, and going through this kind of area between two rocks there, big boulders. It's probably somewhere around 3 miles away from Tinker Cliffs still. So wanted to give you a glimpse of the trail. But yeah, it's been pretty nice. I mean, there's some rocks here and there, but it's nothing compared to what we've been going through for days to get here. But yeah, it's similar. So we're going to go back over these rocks right here. The trail's going to switch over to the other side of this rock face. This is kind of what you do on these ridges. You switch back and forth between the two sides, depending on the walkability of it. And that, folks, is how you do it. We've made our way down from McAfee, which I'm looking back at now. That's where McAfee's Knob is up there. We've come down around this way and made our way down this ridge, and we're still on it, heading up to the Tinker Cliffs. So we're kind of going in an uphill fashion now. It has been mostly level or downhill, a little bit uphill, but this is the first sort of climb we've had in a while where it seems to be continuously up. So we're making our way. We'll check in a little bit later. Make it look easy, baby.
Oh, I do, don't I? not sure if this is going to show up in the video, but down there you see the trail, and then you see it goes straight up that mountain. So here we go.
So we've made it up to the entryway to the cliffs, I think. So we're trying to figure out how to get through here. So we're right up there, I think is where the start of the cliffs are. So we're going around this way, but there's the McAfee Knob way over there, where we were this morning. It's about 4:45 or so. And we have made our way. That was a pretty good climb there on the last mile and a half up here to Tinker Cliffs on that ridge. First part of it was downhill level, not bad at all. And then last mile and a half was steady uphill, some of it was steep. And so it was a little bit slow coming up there. But we are getting ready to have our first view from the Tinker Cliffs. I'll show it to you when we get up here. So this is the beginning of the Tinker Cliff section, which goes on for a little ways on this cliff line. So that's McAfee Knob over there, straight across in the middle of the screen. Where we were this morning, we walked down that ridge and around here and up to this point. So it's beautiful up here. Sun feels great. It's not cold, especially after hiking up here. We got a couple of buzzards up here hanging out with us. So anyway, these are the Tinker Cliffs all along this edge. We could see them from over at McAfee Knob, but now that we're on them, it's totally different, of course. But gorgeous out. So the AT goes, there's the white blade, so the trail's going right down the the cliff line here, which I'm showing you. The Tinker Cliffs is a fairly long stretch of rock outcroppings with sheer drop-offs. So looking down into the valley below is really pretty out. And Debbie's on the trail right now. So couldn't have picked a better day to be up here, really. It's outstanding up here. What do you think? So we've officially completed the Virginia Triple Crown, and that's pretty awesome. Still walking along the cliffs here. The trail goes right along the edge of the cliff line. So don't want to fall over to my left. Yeah, I forgot to tell y'all, but McAfee Knob was around 30,100 feet, maybe 200 feet, something like that. And the Tinker Cliffs area is around 2,900. So both of them around 3,000 feet above sea level. So just in case you were wondering. Still on the AT and still following the cliff. So we're just dropping down off of the cliff line, and there's where we were up there. Now we're coming down and switch back till we heading down towards the Lambert Meadows shelter. So it's a little shadier on this side of the mountain. We've been out in the sun up there, and it feels cooler down here for sure. But we're starting to hit the switchbacks to work our way down. All right, we will check in a bit. We're maybe a little over a mile from the shelter. About 5:15 or so. So we'll check in a bit. All right, it's 6 o'clock and we have made it to the Lambert Meadows shelter. So days are getting short, and thank goodness the time hasn't changed yet. But the days are getting much shorter, especially in these hollers. All right, we will check in with you later. Well, we came about a 1/10 of a mile past the shelter. And this is the Lambert Meadows camping area. They do have a food storage container there, and they also have a picnic table, and there's a fire ring here, and so this is where we're going to set up our tent for the evening. It's about 37 degrees, Supposed to go down another 10 degrees or so. There is a little tad bit of water down here right by the, probably can't see the water, but there's water right there by that log a little bit. This is pretty dried up, but I think we can get some water out of there if we need it. We're set for the night. But anyway, we're gonna set up our tent and get going here and get ready for bed and eating and such. So happy to have a table. We will check in with you guys later. Yeah, and by the way, we did about 10, half 11 miles today, saying 11.3 on the Far Out app tracking, but I don't think the mileage between the start point and the here make 11.3. I don't understand how it does that. I guess it counts some of the extra stuff we do. Anyway, we're about 10 miles or a little more down the trail from where we started, and then we've got about 10 miles left tomorrow to get back to Highway 220, and that's where our vehicle is. So, all right, we'll check in later.